If you are a watch collector, an enthusiast, and you possess a special liking for independent watchmaking and Japanese horology, then you might have heard about this brand. And you may also know master watchmaker Sensei Hajime Asaoka, who decided that he needed to do something different, and that's how the brand Kurono Tokyo was born. Presenting the Kurono Tokyo Shiro Chronograph 2, the watch that embodies Japanese horology, craftsmanship, experimentation, and the heart of independent watchmaking from the hands of the master himself, with the idea to provide a more accessible timepiece that shares the design DNA of Sensei Hajime himself to provide exclusive handmade atelier watches at affordable levels. And since the first models, the success has been immense. Chronograph 2 White nicknamed Shiro is a refined interpretation of the iconic Chronograph 2 designed by Hajime Asaoka. A longer development period has allowed for numerous improvements across the watch, from higher definition printing to greater depth of field, from thick lacquer, from light refraction and concentric guilloche to parallax overprinting, and the experimentation with the hands. The simplicity of art and play of colors and exploration of details was put into the construction of this watch. Simple elements such as heron white on the dials is much more as brilliant as the white achieved by fine sandblasting of the dial followed by the silvering, and with the thick lacquer giving it the appearance of bright white. As the white dial of this watch, it specifies a significantly thicker clear lacquer, bright white, heron white and red interplay of colors, a pronounced shape of the dial periphery, recessed subdials with the diamond cut steel surrounds, improved multi-layer printing for exceptionally crisp text, and pulsometer tachymeter with date, and high polished dome steel hour markers. This Japanese made mechanical self-binding independent watchmaking chronograph is a brilliant example of independent Japanese watchmaking. The Kurono Tokyo Chronograph 2 White Shiro features a conservatively sized 38 mm x 13.9 mm polished SS316L stainless steel case with a vintage style domed sapphire crystal protecting the dial, which has dual recessed azures or stamped concentric guilloche finished subdials with diamond cut steel surrounds set against an attractive mixture of bright white, heron white and red, with the company's signature Kudo arrow hands stacked on the top. Covered in a thick clear lacquer, the dial has red printed tachymeter scale that encircles the center of the dial and intersects with the sunken subdials, while the outermost ring has black printed telemeter scale. Tiny highly polished circular steel dot mark the hours except at the poles where the two counters and dead aperture prevent the circular markers from being placed. And there is a double batten index at 12 o'clock. A black painted ring just outside the hour markers displayed a 0 to 60 scales for reading the minutes and chronograph seconds. The mechanical beating heart of this beautiful chronograph is none other than Japan-made Seiko SII NE86 automatic chronograph movement. The movement beats at 4 Hz. It has 311 components, 34 jewels and a power reserve of 45 hours. This is a column wheel equipped vertical clutch actuated chronograph. So we know that the chronograph operation is going to be very smooth. Another beneficial design detail is that chronograph minute counter runs continuously instead of jumping, and overall the start, stop, reset feel of the chronograph pushers are very smooth. This movement has a unique 3-pointed hammer system that starts, stops and resets all 3 wheels simultaneously. This allows for all the counters to advance continuously rather than only at 1 minute intervals. Additionally, instead of driving the minute and hours counter from the chronograph seconds wheel, each is driven by a powered wheel with its own clutch. This delivers increased accuracy and a long-term reliability. The movement has a power reserve of 45 hours. The solid stainless steel caseback bears the Kurono signature in Japanese calligraphy and the mention of the name of the master watchmaker himself and the other details of the watch. The caseback have lug holes in order to put the caseback opener to open the caseback when needed for servicing. If we look at the dial, it features the play of the colors with red on white that gives it a highly contrasting look, along with the Japanese calligraphy of Bunkyo Tokyo mentioned on the dial. It mentions automatic chronograph at 6 o'clock, a bold framed date window at 6 o'clock gives this overall watch a boldness, a character as well as utility. This watch incorporates the utility of earlier vintage watches combined with the modern art, modern watchmaking, and both of them combined together to give an emboldening look of the very beautiful Kurono Tokyo Shiro 2 chronograph. The chronograph pushers are located at 2 o'clock for the start and pause and restart, and the chronograph reset pusher is located at 4 o'clock to reset the counters back to 0. At 3 o'clock, the crown is located, that is a non-screw down type of crown which has a 0 position for initial winding of the watch, first position to set the date and the second position to set the time. The overall case is very well machined, very subtly designed, and it sits great on the wrist. Something that all independent watchmaking lovers would definitely like to sport on their wrist. This is a prime example of how an independent watchmaking design should be done. And I think there is none other better independent watchmaking at affordable prices than this particular watch. This beautiful little piece of the work, that is the dial, in my opinion, every element on this dial is perfect from a design perspective. And currently no other chronographs in my collection has such feature. This dial is busy, but it also is not as busy as it may seem. It makes great use of empty space and lays out each element in a manner that doesn't feel very cluttered or claustrophobic. And there is a beautiful symmetry to the whole layout that is very lovable. The lug bit of this watch is 20 mm and it sports a hand-stitched black leather strap, which is very premium quality. The lug-to-lug width of this particular watch is 46.7 mm, but it sits on the wrist like charm. Every aspect of this watch connects to the nature, from the idea, the implementation, the execution, and the wrist presence. This is one of the finest examples of independent watchmaking, and that too available for all. There cannot be any other example of independent watchmaking other than this watch. So signing off from the review of Kurono Tokyo Shiro chronograph, I will be back with further reviews of other watches. Have a good day ahead.